Hi there, I'm Shane Spears and welcome to another edition of Summit Scale, beaming out to you from the beautiful city of Bath in the UK. My guest today is Jeb Blount. Jeb, a very warm welcome. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be able to have the opportunity from the United States, and thank you for having me on the show, Shane.
You're brilliant. For those of you that don't know him, Jeb Blount is a sales acceleration specialist and author of 10 books, including Fanatical Prospecting, Sales EQ, People Buy You, People Follow You, and Objections. He is among the world's most respected thought leaders on prospecting, sales leadership, and customer experience. Through his global training organisation, Sales Gravy, Jeb advises a who's who of the world's leading organisations and their executives on the impact of emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills on customer-facing activities. Brilliant. Jeb, the title of our interview today is People Follow You, the title of your book, The Real Secret to Leading High-Performance Teams, and we have 5 minutes for the interview. If you're ready, I'll start the clock.
Let's go. Start the clock. Let's get it done.
So you talk about 3 pillars of leadership. What are those?
The 3 pillars of leadership are leading, managing, and coaching. So in most cases, if you, for example, were to go on Harvard Business Review and you were reading articles around leadership, most of those articles will say that leading is good and managing is bad. And we hear this over and over again, but you couldn't be further from the truth. Leadership is a composite of leading, which is simply your ability to get people emotionally connected to a vision for the future. Managing, being able to set the processes and systems that lead them to that future state. And coaching, which is building and working on your people. Another way of looking at this, Shane, is that 90% of strategy is execution. Strategy is the why, the vision, right? The execution is the how. And 90% of execution is human beings. And leaders have to be good at all 3 pillars in order to execute at the highest levels.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm spot on. I think I found a soulmate in you. So what are the most important questions employees are asking of their leaders?
There's 2 core questions that employees ask of their leaders. And by the way, this is the same question that we ask of the leaders that we work for. And all of us, even though I'm the CEO of my company, I still have someone I report to, which is the CFO in my office, who I happen to be married to. And so we all have a boss of some sort, and we're asking 2 basic questions. One is, do you have my best interest at heart? And this is important because in leadership, it's not about being likable. Being likable is a really tough place to go, because if you focus on being likable, you try to be something to everyone. In other words, you're so focused on people, seeing you in a certain way that you forget that your job is to help them accomplish their goals. So what people want to know is, do you have my best interest at heart? Do you understand me? Do you get me? And are you always working to help me get what I want? And number 2 is, do I trust you to get me in position to win? And that's essentially what a leader's job is. It's getting their people in position to win. Like any coach, for example, if you were to go watch a sporting event, the coach is on the sideline and the coach can see the entire field, and the coach is telling the players or directing the players to move in certain places. Those players have to trust that the coach can see everything and they're right. And leaders have to do those 2 things. And when in surveys of employees, when you ask employees what would cause them to follow a particular leader or to take their coaching, this always comes back to, do I have a good relationship with you? In other words, do I believe that you have my best interest at heart? And do I trust you to get me in position to win? And for leaders, you should never forget that's what your job is, to get people in position to win, because you get paid for what they do, not for what you do.
Right, yeah. And you also talk about the 5 principles of leadership. Tell us more about that, Jeb.
Well, there's 5 core principles of leadership, and and for leaders, we could spend 4 hours on this. Principle number 1, I think, the most important thing is what I just said. And if you just start at this one place, this one key principle, and that is that you need your people more than they need you. If you focus on that, if you just do that one thing and have that in your heart, in other words, you serve them. Your job is to get them in position to win. Your job is to do everything possible in your power to make sure that the people that are working for you are able to get their job done, or able to do it in a way that makes them feel good and feel like they have purpose in their life, whether they're sweeping the floor or running a division of your company. Either way. And I always say it all starts at that place. If you don't get that, that you get paid for what they do.
Yeah.
In other words, anything that you do or don't do that impedes their success is not in your best interest. If you begin at that one place, everything else will fall in line.
Brilliant. And we've got a minute left, Jeb. What's the real secret to making impact?
Well, for me, the real secret to making impact with your people is trust. Like, you have to have that. And everything begins with trust. You cannot be a leader and you cannot have leadership without trust. And trust is built one brick at a time. And that means that you have to understand that everything that you do or don't do is being observed by your people. And they are making judgments about whether or not to trust you based on their intentions, not your intentions. Right. And if you're a leader, you have to be aware of that. So if you can begin with the foundation of trust, and you can work at trust, and you can follow Stephen Covey's advice around trust, which is basically trust is a bank account. Right. And everything that you do is putting trust into the bank account. And sometimes when you make a mistake, and you will because you're a human and you're a leader and you're going to do things that are going to destroy trust, you're taking things out of the bank account. Your job is to keep that bank account in the black. And my one advice for modern leaders, especially in the world of social media and our hypersensitivity to the world around us, is that today, when you bring someone into your building or into your workplace, especially if they're a millennial or a Gen Z, you don't necessarily start in the black. You don't start off with a bank account full of trust. You usually start off in the red. They don't trust you. So you have to earn that trust through the actions that you take every moment of the day.
Brilliant. Jeb, sadly we've come to the time. This is brilliant stuff. I could talk all day with you on this stuff. Thank you so much. Folks, for more resources, check out Jeb's website, www.salesgravy.com. There's some great resources there. Jeb, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate it.
Thanks for checking out our Summit Scale podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes and subscribe, rate us and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to learn more about the work we do or are looking for a load of free resources to help with scaling your business, check out our website, www.summitleader.com.